Welcome back to the best show on WWE television review, and that is Smackdown, ladies and gentlemen. Yep, Smackdown continues to show why it is the best show on WWE television. One of my friends asked me this important question. He said to me, how is Smackdown so good while Raw and NXT are really bad? And you know what? I don't have the answer to that question. I don't have the answer. NXT, used to be good, but not anymore. Monday Night Raw, in my personal opinion, Monday Night Raw is just garbage. I mean, yeah, it has Drew McIntyre, it's got Randy Orton, it's got The Fiend, it's got Alexa and Asuka. But until Charlotte Flair and Naomi come back, that show is completely unwatchable. I mean, it's just ridiculous how we see the exact same people every single show. If you watch Raw, if you've been watching Raw, you notice that we see the exact same people every single show. Nothing completely new. No new faces. No different people like, maybe like a Tucker. Or maybe like a Peyton Royce. Yeah, I don't give a shit about Tucker, but I'm just saying, give us some different people each week. Remember Dabba-Kato? Yabba Dabba Doo guy? Remember him? Remember he got drafted to Monday Night Raw? Where the heck's he? Where's Yabba Dabba Doo guy? Where's he? He got drafted to Raw. Yabba Dabba Doo. Where is he? Completely nowhere. Surprised he's not in the gang of people that are chasing the 24/7 7-Eleven I-95 South R-Truth Championship. I'm surprised he's not amongst those people. But yet we get Jackson Riker and we get all these other bums on the show. Seriously, Monday Night Raw is just complete terrible. It's the same people every single show. It's just so predictable. And the women's division is complete shit. Especially when we see Lana, Nia, and Shayna Baszler every damn week. Somehow those three bums are more important than building a new star like Peyton Royce, which was the whole point of splitting her away from the Iconics. But no, it seems like Vince McMahon has given up on Peyton Royce. He hasn't even given her a fair opportunity. No need for Nikki Cross anymore. She's on main event. It's ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous how Monday Night Raw's women's division is literally so terrible. Monday Night Raw's just literal garbage. Literal garbage. But that's why we're here to talk about the best show on WWE television, and that is Smackdown. Are you ready for a good time? Yeah, I am ready for a good time. Smackdown's always a good time. So the show begins with Kevin Owens. Show begins with Kevin Owens. He calls out the big dog, but the big dog doesn't come to the ring. But this leads to Roman Reigns coming to the ring, and then he starts taunting Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens heads to the ring, and then throughout the entire show, they just brutally destroy Kevin Owens throughout the entire show. Jey Uso, Roman, they just destroy him all show. All show, they just beat him up. Beat him up all show. That's all they do throughout the entire show, and that is beat down Kevin Owens. Then we had the Street Profits face off against Dolph Ziggler and Robert Rood for the SmackDown Tag Team titles, and the Street Profits would get the win. The babyfaces pull a dirty cheat. People get pissed off when the heels cheat. How come the Street Profits aren't being called out for cheating? pulled Robert Rood's trunks. Handful of tights by Montez Ford. What great champions are the Street Profits to just go ahead and cheat like that? I find it hilarious that this is one of the things that I really hate hearing on television, is that Michael Cole would always call a roll-up stealing the victory. No, what Montez Ford did was stealing the victory. Pulling a handful of trunks. That is stealing the victory, Michael Cole. Not a simple roll-up. A simple roll-up isn't a victory steal. Pulling someone's trunks is stealing the win. Seriously. And so that's one thing. Secondly, Michael Cole says the word veteran so differently. He says the veteran. The veteran. Veteran. It's veteran, Michael Cole, not veteran. I know Americans say things differently, but it's veteran. Veteran. Just like how Americans, for some insane reason, when you look at the name Shinsuke Nakamura, they say Shinsuke Nakamura. But whenever I look at the name Shinsuke Nakamura, I look at it as Shinsuke Nakamura. There you go. There's a little bit of history lesson for you people here today. Giving you guys a bit of history. And Oscar that's not how you spell, well, that's not how you say Oscar. Oscar is pronounced with an O, not an A. Yes, it can be pronounced with an A, but if you look at how Oscar's name is looked at, it's Asuka. Asuka. Yes, Americans say things differently, but when I look at these names, I look at them differently. Yes, I've been saying them like that on this channel for possibly years. I've probably been saying them like that ever since I started this channel, but I'm giving you guys a bit of history lesson. That when you look at these names, you gotta look at actually how they're supposed to be pronounced. Michael Cole always butchers the tongue. He's done it with Bayley. He's done it with Bayley all the time. He calls Bayley Bayley. Like there's a Y doesn't exist in her name. Bayley, the veteran Bayley, not Bayley, Bayley, Bailey. Come on, Michael Cole, come on, Michael Cole, get your spelling right. But yes, he calls roll-ups stealing the victory all the damn time, which is so damn annoying. But what Montez Ford did here, he stole the win with a handful of tights. Now that, Michael Cole, is stealing the win. But Ziggler and Rood, they go off, they get mad. They get mad because the referee didn't see Montez Ford pulling their trunks, and the referee starts shouting at Ziggler and Rood and even threatened to suspend them if they keep arguing with him. Since when can referees drop suspensions on a pair of wrestlers? I don't know. I guess a wrestler can suspend another wrestler. I guess anybody can suspend anybody. I guess I should suspend Montez Ford for cheating. I guess anyone is allowed to suspend anyone. Yes, I know I came on here praising. Yes, I know I just said I was praising this show for how good it was. But there are just some things here and there that are kind of a little annoying. And hearing Charles Robinson threaten to suspend Robert Rood and Dolph Ziggler all because they're whining over the fact that Montez Ford cheated to beat them, it's kind of silly. It's kind of silly to think, oh, a referee has the authority to suspend somebody. Yes, Charles Robinson, I'm going to walk to Adam Pearce and I'm going to tell Adam Pearce to suspend Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode because they were yelling at me. They had every right to yell at you. Because you didn't do your job as a referee to check if there was the tights. And secondly, you got the damn replays. You got the damn replays playing on the bloody big-ass Titantron screens. How can the referees not look up at the damn bloody screen and see that, oh yeah, this guy had a handful of tights? That's another thing that actually bugs me. It's just so bizarre and weird. It's just so bizarre and weird. Well, whatever. Little things. That's really all it is, I guess. Then we had the Riot Squad back on TV. They took on Billie Kay again in a tag match where she got to pick her partner. I immediately knew it was going to be Tamina. I was like, Tamina, and then she calls out Tamina, and I was like, yep, predictable. Called out Tamina. And obviously, Billie Kay loses again. LOL, Billie Kay loses. Good on you, Billie Kay. You know what? At least Billie Kay is actually getting more TV time than Peyton Royce. I guess that's a win for Billie Kay. She's getting more TV time than her former tag team partner, Peyton Royce. I guess that's a victory for... I guess we can give Billie a victory there. Then we had Carmella. Mella, as I call her. She came out. She was going to champagne her victory at TLC. Sasha Banks would then interrupt. She would come into the ring. She would drink the champagne. And then she would throw a champagne bottle at Carmella and her little Soye or whatever or Servier or whatever his name is. Her little bum buddy. Seriously, every time Carmella's a heel, she seems to have some kind of stupid moron by her side. And Carmella says that she's made more history than Sasha Banks. No joke, she literally said that on Talking Smack. Carmella, you have not made more history than Sasha Banks. Who the hell do you think you are? Sasha Banks is a Grand Slam champion, 9-time overall champion. Yeah, she hasn't won at WrestleMania, but have you, Carmella? Have you? No, you haven't. Have you stepped inside Hell in a Cell, Carmella? No, you haven't. You haven't. Carmella is a literal joke. Let's face it. She's the only 2-time Money in the Bank briefcase holder, all because she had an idiot with no chin help her. Remember that fact. The fact that Carmella had a guy with no chin literally hand her the Money in the Bank. At least Sasha Banks would actually win the Money in the Bank fair and square. She wouldn't need some doofus to come pull down the briefcase for you and say, here you go, you're the winner. Please, give me a break, Carmella. You've made more history than Sasha Banks. Please! The only history you'll be remembering is having a guy with no chin literally helping you through your Money in the Bank wins and your SmackDown Women's title reign. That's the only history you've made. What? You consider the 24/7 title as an accomplishment? Please, Carmella. Get out of here. But Carmella, she stood tall at the end. She smacked a champagne bottle across the back of Sasha. So yeah, that happened. And then we had the blue collar brawler, Otis, compete against Shinsuke Nakamura. And, Otis, he gets the victory here. And, yeah, I know a lot of people are not very happy about this, but, you know, the thing is, we'll get to the Bayley thing in a second, but I think it's, I didn't mind it because, you know, Shinsuke, you know, he's a big star. I mean, whatever. I mean, who cares, right? No one gives a shit about Otis, so why should it matter to you? If the big boy beats Nakamura. Yes, I know it. Yes, I know. Logically, it doesn't make sense for a great New Japan star like Nakamura to lose to Otis, but you gotta remember, this is wrestling. You have winners and you have losers, but hey, it is what it is. You can't change it even if you wanted to. So then we had the Sammy Awards. The first ever Sammy Awards. Sami Zayn was, you know, giving himself awards. Very typical. That's a typical heel thing. And then Big E, you know, he messes with one of them and he rewards himself the Superstar of the Year. And that didn't go well for poor old Sami Zayn. Then we had Bianca Belair face off against Bayley in possibly the best match of the night. This was a big match for Bianca Belair. And this is the first time WWE have literally named Bayley's finishing maneuver. The same maneuver that she's been using since her heel turn last year. No joke. On this day, the 12th of December 19th, well, September 18th to you Americans, 2020, Bayley's finisher now has a name. The Rose Plant. So why did it nearly take you guys nearly like over a year to come up with a name for that move? Role Model Driver sounded good to me. It sounded good to me. But whatever. But whatever. The whole point here is that Bayley won. What did I say on my last week's review? I wouldn't be surprised if Bayley won because of her 9 consecutive losses. And look what happened. Bayley ended up winning. She cheated. She poked Bianca Belair in the eyeballs. And then she hit the Rose Plant for the win. Now, clearly there's going to be more to this than just this one match. Clearly there's going to be more to this. Maybe they have a rematch at TLC. Maybe they announce another match between these two at TLC. And maybe Bianca Belair wins. We'll see. But here's the thing. This is something I stated. Maybe not on my review. I'm pretty sure I did, but I'm not sure if I didn't. But I want to say, fans complain no matter the result. And this is why I mentioned the Shinsuke Nakamura thing, because I don't think it really mattered. Because it doesn't matter who wins or loses to these people. The fact that people complain no matter what happens, that's the point. The point here is that the fans will always complain no matter what happens on their television screen. If Shinsuke Nakamura did indeed defeat Otis, what do you think people would have said? They would have said, who cares? It does nothing for Shinsuke Nakamura. That's what people would have said if Nakamura did defeat Otis. Yes, it makes sense, because if you're going to use your logic, why would Nakamura lose to a big guy like Otis? Right? So you would use that logic, but secondly, you would say, what does a win against Otis do for Shinsuke Nakamura? What does a win over Shinsuke Nakamura do for Otis's career? Basically nothing. People will say the same thing there. It does nothing for Otis, and people will say the B word. Buried. People will throw the B word around all the damn time, and that's the thing that I am very, very concerned about. Because when this Bayley-Bianca match came to be, I knew people were going to complain no matter the result, because Bayley's been on has been losing matches since August. She hasn't won a match since August. She was on a 9-match losing streak from what I was told. A 9-match losing streak. Bianca Belair was undefeated outside of Battle Royals and Survivor Series because those are completely different matches. Singles, one-on-one, she was undefeated. So I said it doesn't matter the result. Fans will complain no matter what. If Bayley won, people would say Bianca Belair got buried. And number two, if Bianca Belair won, all the Bayley fans will start bitching and moaning and saying how Bayley deserves better despite being champion for 380 days. The result here, this is why WWE can never win with the internet wrestling community, because they bitch and moan no matter what happens. They will say what they want, but when it happens, they will complain. They want new stars created? Okay, they're building up Otis. He's a new star, they're building him up. Sure, people may not like him. I don't mind him, but some may not like him. That's fine. If you don't like him, that's perfectly fine. But the fact that you want WWE to create new stars, that's the issue. The issue here is that you want WWE to create new stars, but whenever they do that, you will start moaning and complaining about said new star being pushed. Bianca Belair is a new star, and that's why I say people will complain if she lost, which she did. People will say she's buried because the people in this world think losing one match means your career is in the dumps. It doesn't mean that at all. It doesn't mean that at all. Just because you lose one lousy match doesn't mean your career is over. Does not mean you are buried. People just never understand this because they don't understand the term storytelling. They don't follow storylines and storytelling. It's all about the wrestling to them. It's all about what makes sense to these people. Otis beating Nakamura didn't bother me all that much because Otis is the new guy. Nakamura, he's been around for years. He's been wrestling for years. And secondly, yes, I want to see Nakamura eventually turn babyface again and, maybe finally get his big run as world champion one day. But that's another thing. Not everyone will be champion. And that's the other thing that people don't understand. People really just want everybody to be champion. Every single wrestler that is on this roster, they just want everyone to be champion. Everyone. They want everyone champion because they think everyone deserves a title reign. That's not technically true. Not everybody deserves a world title run. As I said, Nakamura, he's had a pretty good career. Intercontinental champion, 2 US title runs, and a tag team title run, and an NXT title run. Royal Rumble win. How good of a career could you ask for? Yes, does he deserve a world title? Yes, he does. But that depends if WWE want to give him one. So all I'm trying to say is that Bianca Belair losing this match does not mean she's buried. She is going to get her win back against Bayley. But as I said, it doesn't matter the result. Fans will complain regardless. Because that's how the internet wrestling community works. That's how this place works. You gotta complain about everything. Because it's WWE. Because WWE, you have to complain. But anyway. So the final thing that happened was, as I said, throughout the entire show was Roman Reigns beating down Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens refuses to stay down. After Roman Reigns buried him. Look at that. There you go. Even WWE.com themselves even used the term buried. They buried him under tables, ladders, and chairs. So there you go. Kevin Owens is buried. Because they literally said he was buried under tables, ladders, and chairs. Of course Kevin Owens isn't buried. Don't use the word buried unless you know what it means. And with Roman Reigns, this is actually pretty weird because I've heard a lot of people say, I've asked people this, because I've asked people, I've always said, depending on the Go Home show, I always feel like whatever happens on the Go Home show means they win. I've asked a couple of my friends, and they still think, even after Kevin Owens being beaten down throughout the entire show, some of my friends still don't think Kevin Owens is going to win. They still think he is going to lose to Roman Reigns. I think that's really insane. How some people think the Go Home show still... I really think that's insane. Could Kevin Owens become Universal Champion? Only time will tell, to be perfectly honest. Do I think Kevin Owens has a chance? I really don't know. I kind of agree that I still think Roman's gonna win. But with Kevin being beaten down throughout the entire night, just made me think, wow, could Kevin Owens actually win? I guess only time will tell. So there you go, guys. That is my review of the best show. I feel like Smackdown is literally the best show outside of major little things that I complain about, and obviously the fans, and obviously me mentioning the fans as I always do, because we're living in a world where people just don't listen. But it is what it is. I hope you guys enjoyed this review of the best show on the calendar, SmackDown. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hit that thumbs up, comment your thoughts and opinions down below. Subscribe if you haven't done so. I would greatly appreciate that. And I will see you all next time.